All right, welcome back, everybody, to Florida
Hey,
West Coast
man.
Fishing Report. Captain Sergio and Captain Mike Haynes. We're here again.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing great. And I tell you what, all of a sudden, man, we got a lot of fishing reports today up and down the coast. It's getting better all the time.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
a little busier than the last few weeks, so it's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, I just lost you there. Oh,
You
I
lose me.
just, hang on. Let me get back over here. Here we go.
There
Yeah,
you
I'm still hearing you a little staticky, but maybe they're not. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, everything seems to be okay on my end. So, but did you get out this week at all?
No, this last week, yeah, Monday, a week ago, Monday.
Hmm.
Was it Monday? Yeah, Wednesday. I'll tell you what, it was just too hot, man. And not having a top on that beaver tail, and the heat index, and they're telling you to be careful. I said, nah, yeah. The other boat for the other show is they're working on it, so I've been taking some stuff up to them that they needed last minute stuff. So, and I've been working with some potential new sponsors for the show for next year. So I've been busy. I've been
Yeah,
busy.
yeah, yeah. It was a little brutal. Got out a few times last week. Red fishing was pretty good still. You just had to hunt for them. That was the biggest thing, and you just had to keep moving, keep trying new spots, and one day you can be on them, and the next it just kind of disappears. So they're not really sticking to anything normal. They're just not staying in one spot. They're definitely moving around. And over the weekend, we did some scalloping, and it was like jumping into bathwater. It was just hot. Um, most everything out there is moving to deeper water. So it's just brutal. Heat index, I think, on Sunday was 101 here. So it's
Well,
it's not a fun time of year.
I
And
was
we'll
looking at
complain
the
about
news
this in the
before I
wintertime
came
as
on the
well.
air, and in Tampa it was 118 today.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went over to Eustis and it was 103 there inside. When I get back toward Crystal River, it's down closer to 99. So it just depends on where you're at. More
I'm still trying
concrete,
to figure
better
out
weather.
if I got a bad connection on my end or what, because I'm getting so much static on your line over here over my headphones. But that's all right. We'll make it work.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, we've got some new people. We got Stacy from St. Mark's, St. George Island area.
yeah.
She's going to
She's a
start
good
giving us
fisherman.
a
I've known
report.
her for a little bit.
And so yeah, we've got what, three ladies, three.
Yeah,
Well, one tournament fisherman, Pam, and two lady captains that are sending in the reports. So hey, the thing is growing. We'll be able to help
yes,
people a lot.
it definitely is. Definitely is.
Yeah,
Yeah, and hopefully, maybe by the next show, we might have a few more from down south as well. So we'll see
cool.
how that goes. Been networking and talking to a few people. So hopefully we'll have a few ports and reports and maybe cover the whole West Coast, the Gulf Coast, which would be great. People can tune in and hear it from many different areas. They can plan their trips or decide where they want to go. But yeah, be great.
I'm just trying to. I'm still getting a lot of static on my end, so just bear with me. I don't know why. Okay, are you there?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just getting a lot of static on your end. I don't know why, but
Well, let me put it out there. Does Jim or Orlando, do you hear me fine? Do you hear any static going on? See if they respond to that.
so well. I tell you what, though, I talked to a few captains this morning, and they were all saying, "Man, they're doing fish camp and all that, and they're just taking a beating in this heat."
Mhm. Yeah,
Especially all those that don't have T-tops. Oh my God, can you imagine? Hey, just being in that beaver tail, you don't know how much I can see. That is a wonderful boat, except to me, I think it's July and August. It's not a good boat. It's too
No,
hot unless
it
you
is
go out
hot.
real early in the morning.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
back in for
You
10:30.
you limit your time out there because when you have
Now,
no place to get protected,
once the fall
uh,
gets here, late September, all the way through, I think through early May, it's going to be it's fantastic because
yeah,
it doesn't get that hot and you get in so many, especially in the winter with negative tides, you get into such skinny water with it. But boy, this time of the year, and the biggest thing is I don't know about in Crystal River or some of the other that are listening in. Water temperature, it's funny, it doesn't seem to be that hot. It was like 89, 90. I've seen it get to 92 last year,
hmm,
but the fish bite is just way off where there's some trout. You hear a few people get a snook or two, a redfish or two, but it's just like the bite is real slow.
yeah, it definitely has, and I don't know if it's because I mean, water temperature is definitely not as high as it has been, and I think the rain that we've had past couple of weeks has helped that. Um, yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, you go out there one day and you're on a really hot bite with redfish, got a big school and stuff like that. And the next day you go out to find them and they're just not there and you got to hunt around again. So I don't know if they're just on the constant move at this point. Because some of my regular spots that I usually hit, just some are producing, some are not. And usually I'll at least get one or two fish out of these areas, especially high tide in the mangroves. And we're just not seeing much at all. Plenty of mullet hanging around, especially along the mangroves, but just not seeing a whole lot of redfish or snook or anything kind of sticking with them. So, you know, it's fishing. I mean, it just some days are just like that, where they just everything just kind of disappears and hunkers down for whatever reason that we may have no idea. Um, but I do know the tides were pretty strong this weekend, especially getting out there doing some scalloping. I felt like I was running a marathon the whole time. Just constantly kicking just to stay in pace with the tide. So, and it might have something to do with it.
Well, because I know one thing. Last week we had extremely, extremely high tides,
Mhm.
really high,
Yeah.
and those fish were, where normally at high tide you could just get on just barely underneath the mangroves and you were okay. I mean, those fish were 3, 4 feet under the mangroves,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and they weren't going to come out.
No, this time of year to coin a phrase has been told around here. It's called gorilla fishing. You just have to get way back into the jungle, as far back as you can without getting, hung up or tore up back there. But the farther back you can get it, the better your chances of getting that bite. If you're out in front of mangroves, you're just wasting your time. You're just going to get chewed off by a pinfish or something like that. But yeah, you got to
Now,
be deep in it.
I don't know if you see it on your screen, but Jim Pace says he's on the water right now.
Yeah,
You see that?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you can watch us from pretty much anywhere as long as you got a phone.
yeah, I mean, as long as we really, I mean, last night, we had like a 15-minute pretty hard pour, and then everything cleared up again. And today we haven't had any rain or nothing. It's been
Uh,
pretty dry.
yeah, we haven't had rain in about 3 or 4 days. We're supposed to expect some later this week, I believe. But so far, it's been very, very dry, very, very hot.
And,
So,
we got Scotty wrote, Scotty is, he has 18-foot Hughes,
mhm.
and he completely rebuilt it last year.
Yeah,
Have you met Scotty yet, Mike?
I think we did one time. I think it was over there at the Tampa Boat Show. I think he came over there.
He's from Boca Grande.
Oh, from
And
Boca Grande.
I've
Well,
known
maybe not.
Scotty's guy. We've been friends for like 25 years now.
Okay.
He was real young when I met him.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. But I think last year he went through one of those things like you went through. I think he took his. Correct me if I'm not right, Scotty, but I think he redid. I think he did everything on that Hughes. But he has one of the original ones. I mean, one of the real early ones.
Oh, nice.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that time. It's at that age where things start to deteriorate. I've pretty much run a lot of electrical through it already, um, and just added a few things here and there. But over time, they're boats. They've got to be worked on. They've got to be fixed, and so that's just what it is. Part of this lifestyle that we love so much. It's gonna break down and it's got to get fixed. So it's just bite the bullet and
It's
do it.
you know, when you go back and look at a lot of the earlier boats, you know, they used to have all that wood on the transom. And I
Mhm.
remember one time my uncle had a Wellcraft, a little 21-foot center console, nice little boat. And I forgot what he was. He was going to put a new transducer or something mounted in the back. And when he drilled the little hole into the transom,
Uh-huh.
water started coming out.
Oh, yeah,
And I
yeah,
said, I think you got a little bit of a problem. If you
a
got
little
water
bit.
coming out of the transom, you know, I said, there's a lot of water in that transom. That thing's pretty pretty
Yeah,
rotted out.
yeah, yeah. That's the one thing with mine. There is no wood or anything. It's all composite material. But hitting that submerged log tended to break something loose. So gotta have to tear it apart to do it. And with those boats, you've got to pretty much cut off 1/3 of that deck to get to the transom area. So it is what it is. It's just part of the business.
Yeah. And I've been doing some wheeling and dealing, talking to some people, and uh, I've had a couple of really nice that helped me out because I was looking for some GPS numbers. You know, I haven't fished in the Gulf, actually fished out there unless I've been out to do a show with somebody for
Right.
grouper and all that. God, in 20 years,
Yeah.
most of it has just been, you know, with somebody else or something. So I've got a few people that have been sending me some GPS numbers, you know, within 30 miles of shore. And that was pretty nice. So I've been kind of logging them in. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can come up with at least enough. So when I get this new boat, I can start doing some shows out there, you know.
Yeah, there's a spot about 30 miles straight out Madeira Beach area that the bottom is just like Swiss cheese. It's just limestone bottom. It's like Swiss cheese. And I wish I had that number still, but again, 30 years ago or so that we fished it. But we dove it at the time because on your depth finder, it's just completely flat. There's just no structure in any way, shape, or form. But we were catching grouper after grouper after grouper, and we were wondering why are they there? So we actually brought the dive gear the next time. Went diving down there. I think it was about 80 feet, and the whole bottom is just a bunch of Swiss cheese. It's a bunch of holes that these grouper were sitting in, just like this. And as soon as the bait dropped down, they'd come up and grab it and run. So there's a lot of those places out there, and it was exactly 30 miles out
Wow.
from Madeira
Yeah,
Beach.
I'm kind of looking forward to doing something different. You know, I'm still going to do it. We do a lot of shows inshore, but I just want to get out in like kingfish season and snapper season, and just to be able to do some different shows to break it up a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of looking forward to that, and then actually traveling with you guys and maybe get a hold of Stacy up there around St. Mark's and maybe go up there and visit with her and do a couple of days of filming with her.
Yeah, yeah. She was telling me about the islands out there. I forget what the name of it is, but they've got those barrier islands out there. She was
St.
talking to me
George.
about
I
those,
think it's the
and
St. George Islands, isn't it?
yeah, they looked phenomenal. Almost reminded me of Chandeleur Islands off of Louisiana. Just gorgeous place, almost pristine, and just fish after fish after fish. So um, yeah, it looks beautiful to go try that at least to get out there and take a look at it.
I've got a captain down here, Captain John Rivers, that he came up from that area about 6, 7 years ago. His wife got transferred or something down here to St. Pete or Newport Richie. So he moved down here and he just started, you know, guiding down here. He was a captain up there. But the water up there, though, it's a lot cleaner than it is here.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We should maybe even think to go to Pensacola a couple times of year. That's really really nice. Obviously, red snapper. It's very easy to get to them up there. But even in the say February, you got a massive sheep's head fluctuation that comes in through the Pensacola Pass. That is like one right after. And these are 5 to 8 pound sheephead easy. Sometimes even bigger. They're just gorgeous fish. But then in the fall, say about late October, November, you get the bull reds run, in the bay, and it's quite fun because you sit there in the boat with your clients, and you have a pair of binoculars, and you're just out in the middle of the bay, and you've got several other boats, other captains, and everybody's on the radios, and we're kind of positioned in different locations. And as soon as those redfish hit the surface, everybody hollers, "They're over here," and the boats just start running. And basically, before the boat is slowed down, the engine's off, everybody's throwing top waters, and pretty much everybody hooks up at one time for bull reds. It's
Wow.
an amazing time to do it. It was so much fun to do that.
So, that's what we're going to do in September. We're going to go up to North Carolina for those big bull reds that come in off the Atlantic. I'm going up there we're going to fish with a captain, and he says they're 40 to 50 pounders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pensacola, the biggest one I caught up in Pensacola is about 50 pounds, but the average is anywhere between higher 20s, lower 30s, with a few 40s in there. They've got some big fish up there.
Hey, Donald, is it coming in crackling to you? That Donald just told me, says it's not my headphone.
I'm coming in crackling. All right, let's try some.
Because you're just coming in so crackling. We can see. Well, I'll tell you what we do while he's trying to fix his mic. Hold on, let's do Scotty Rowe.
Oh. Hello, everybody. This is Captain Scotty Rowe, Charlotte Harbor. Just got off the water about 30-40 minutes ago. Back home, cooling off in the air condition because it is brutal hot out there. We started early. I was able to get bait, fairly simple. Was able to start the charter at 7. They did book a 6-hour, so we were off the water at 1, cleaning fish. But it was a great day. Lots and lots of snook action. We didn't get a lot of big snook today, but we did get one. It was, right around 28 inches, so that was kind of nice. Got a small Goliath, some small Jack Crevalles. Excuse me. And the mangrove snapper bite right now is just strong. We are catching some real beautiful mangrove snapper. And most of them are all legal. I mean, 11, 12 inches. Earlier in the week, I got one that was almost 15. And for Charlotte Harbor, that's a big one in the bay. But redfish scattered around. I did run into about 4 or 5 days ago. I did run into a real big monster redfish. I mean, I'm talking for the areas I fish, fish of a lifetime. It was like 42, 43 inches. Huge thing. We did catch that on a pinfish, not whitebait. So, another thing that we got going on here in Charlotte Harbor is those big tarpon that were in Boca Grande Pass have come up into the bay. And, they're all in that 80 to 125 pound range. Best bet for them, DOA bait buster or ladyfish. If you can find some live ladyfish, that is a sure bet on those big tarpon. It's hot out there, so try to get out there early, get off the water early, keep hydrated out there. But the bite is really, really good in Charlotte Harbor. Tight lines, everybody. We'll talk at y'all next week.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thanks, Scotty.
Yeah, because he's coming in crystal clear.
Yeah. Is it any better on my end?
It's still crackling, but not as
Still
bad
crackling.
as before. Are you using your computer or are you using
No, I've got my microphone on. Just one of those things. It's weird. I've really changed nothing from last time. So
okay. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Don't
Could be I'm wondering if it's high use up here of Wi-Fi. It's
okay.
that time of day. Everybody's using it, so it may be something in the connection that I've got directly.
Okay, but you're much better now than you were
Am
before, though. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, before it was really crackling, really bad.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things that I did is I was over at Lee Fisher the other day, and I got me a pinfish trap just to get a bunch of, You have any problems with people taking your pinfish out of your traps or taking your traps up in Crystal River?
Oh, it's an ongoing battle here. And in fact, even on the group, I mean, I get a call almost weekly that, or there's a post almost weekly that somebody has stolen a trap or stolen the pinfish out of them. Captains call up, say, "Hey, you got any traps out here? Because I got robbed." I mean, it's a nuisance, and I just we've tried to call FWC. They really don't do much on it because pinfish traps aren't really regulated. It's kind of a private thing. It's out in open space. It is in the public, so it's we've put our names on them. We've disguised the buoys. It's a never ending thing, and the problem is that you just got people who want to touch other people's stuff who they have no business of doing that. So I'm not sure what's going on. It's just
you try to put it somewhere so you hardly can't see it, and you just get the GPS number, right?
That is what I do now. I don't ever put a buoy on my traps anymore. I pretty much sink them. Got the GPS number. I'll either sink them near mangroves or sink them out in the flats, and I just do the GPS numbers and I pull it up with my gaff, so that way nobody can find it. They're always there. It's just the best way to do it. The only problem is you definitely have to do it in clear water. So just in case somebody comes across it and sees an open trap down there or a trap with no buoy or anything else like that, it's still possible that somebody could take it, but the likelihood is very, very small compared to a buoy, just advertising, "Hey, we got a pinfish trap here." So it's an ongoing battle.
Now, do you have to mark those pinfish traps any different, or just put a buoy on it and that's it?
Just a buoy on it, and that's it. I mean, like I said, a lot of the captains here, we will color mark them so we know, everybody kind of knows what colors everybody uses most of the time, or sometimes they'll put initials in them. Because if you get a bunch of white buoys out there and they're all close together, you're not sure whose is who. So you tend to mark them a little bit just to make sure you're not taking somebody else's bait. It's just kind of a common courtesy here with the captains. And again, if your bait is stolen, usually you're on the phone calling another captain, a buddy, saying, "Hey, you have any, can I raid your pinfish trap, and put some bait in it if you're already not using it." And it's just the way of life up here. And it's just sad because people can't leave other people's stuff alone.
Because I know at one time, a couple of years ago, I had 2 of them out on the flats, and actually I had a couple of crab traps to get black drum, in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay. And then all of a sudden, man, showed up one day, somebody took both of my traps.
Yeah.
Just took them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, I just don't understand it. And again, hey, if you want some pinfish, if you want it, fine, take it. Leave me $5 at least for the bait.
Yeah, but put a little plastic bag, stick it back in there.
There's a lot of money involved in those, and when they get stolen, before, I think a few years back, they were $35, $40 a piece. Well, now they're up to $60, $75 a piece. That gets expensive.
I know.
It just, and you have to constantly replace them. It's not a cheap thing to do. And like I said, it aggravates the stew out of us, but I don't know that there's anything that we can do. We've actually put up trail cams, put a trap out, put trail cam up there in the mangrove trying to catch them, and even showed that to FWC, and they just wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't do a thing.
Now, what do you find is the best bait to put in the pinfish trap?
We use some of the herring here, or sardines, just something oily. You can use greenbacks down there, white bait as well. That seems to be a real good bait to use.
Chop up the greenbacks and stick them in there?
Yeah, what I like to do is I like to break them open, so at least it kind of gets that oils out there, gets that scent out there. Because right now you can put a pinfish trap out, and I will do that sometimes. I'll go out there in the morning with my clients. We'll drop the trap, go looking for trout or something like that, using artificials, or I may have some leftover bait that we're using. Within an hour, I'll go back to that trap and it'll be completely full. So summertime
with no bait in it.
Oh, with bait, we have to bait it up. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that it doesn't take long in the summertime to get your pinfish. So, I mean, you wait an hour and that thing will be full.
I remember the
most
day you
places.
and I went out, man, that trap of yours was loaded with pinfish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they do, and you learn where to put them and where not to put them. I mean, we've got captains who have traps far north near the spoils, all the way down to the Homosassa area. You know, they spread them out because your chances of, you know, if you got 4 or 5 traps out there, you don't want to put them all in one location because then somebody's going to take them all at one time. If you kind of spread them out a
And make
couple
them at
miles in
least work
between,
for it.
you might have some bait later on. So but it's
At least make them work for it, you know?
yeah, make them work for it. And some of them have booby trapped them, barbed wire, razor blades, stuff like that. But you know,
I'm not going to do it. I don't want to hurt anybody doing anything.
yeah, you know, it, like I said, it's all a preference, but it's obviously something that's just never going to go away, unfortunately. And I've caught people doing it, rolled right up on them and knew that it was another captain's trap and say, hey, whose trap is that? And they didn't give the right answer. I'm like, let's put all those back and put it back in the water and don't touch that ever again. So, you know, and it's all walks and variety of life that I've seen taking pinfish out of traps.
Wow.
And when we had grouper season, it was one of the worst times because you'd have the bigger boats coming from all over the place, and they would go out to go grouper fishing. Well, they'd see a trap, pull it real quick, get a bunch of bait for grouper, and you'd never see that trap again. So it's slowed down because of that, because our grouper season's only 15 days this year again, which is horrible.
September 1st through the 14th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for Crystal River, it's okay. You can still catch them. There's still plenty out there, but to me, the fun part of catching grouper is in the cooler months when they're in, 4 to 5 foot of water, shallow water. It's really fun to do that. But, September, we just don't get that here now. So I hate the fact that they're doing it in September again.
Well, hey, maybe they're doing it because they figure you won't catch as many. I don't know.
It could be, but we still got plenty around. There's still a bunch of people catching them out there on the reefs and rocks. So
I see a lot of pictures on. In fact, it was funny. I was watching YouTube early this morning because I get up so early in the morning that before I do anything, I just got to let the dogs out. Then I have my cup of coffee and I watch YouTube for about 45 minutes. And there was these 3 Spanish guys that went out. Then this was an FWC cam thing, like a 12-minute show. And this was like a year and a half ago. These guys pull up to the dock and FWC, hey, come over here, let's take a look. They had 23 red grouper.
Oh my!
During the close season, but on top of that, not one was legal size.
Oh my!
And they're telling these guys, "Oh well, we just got the boat. We always fish inshore. We never go offshore fishing." And and actually, this FWC guy was really a nice guy. He said, "Look," he says, "you got enough here for me to take you to jail." He said, "You got 23 illegal fish, number one, and then they don't even meet the size criteria.
Yeah,
and then you're way over your limit if it was open and if you had the right size." He says, "I'm going to write you up." And so the guy was all crazy. He said, "Well," he said, "probably it was your first time. They probably just maybe fine you $50 and sponge it." He said, "But I'm going to be honest with you. You got so many fish that it might not be $50. They might look at it a little different." It was kind of a funny thing because these 3 Spanish guys, they really seemed honest that they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But like the guy says, you got to look at the.
You gotta pay attention to those rules.
If you don't have that app, you're crazy. I got the app because sometimes I'm not sure. I'll catch something in the bay, in the middle of the shift channel that I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure. So
yeah, because the seasons change so often around here now. It seems.
Season could be open and they put an emergency thing out and they close it. But if you look at all the paperwork. The last thing that came out in July says it's open, but guess what? No, they just closed it.
Yeah.
So
it like I said, it changes constantly. So you have to be up on those rules and regs quite consistently, and that's why if I do have a question, I've got an app that's pretty much downloaded, and I can kind of
That's what I got
check
the
it.
FWC app, and when you go to it, freshwater, saltwater, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Even even your fishing license is in there.
Mhm.
So you can have it. You don't have to have it on you, but I mean, it's just common sense.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny because these guys, one guy was so nervous. I mean, the guy kept reaching out and taking out red grouper, and you can see this WFC guy was going, wow, 23 red grouper. And they were
Mhm.
all like 15, 16 inches long. You
Yeah.
know? Oh, God.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
know.
But well, listen, let's do
gonna say, we'd love to have
do you
for another
want next?
report.
Who should we do?
Yeah.
Who should we do a report with next? You got it. You got it in front of you.
Let's why don't we do Jessica's?
Jessica. Okay, let's do that one.
Captain Jessica Hanovic out of Yule Hookham. We went out this morning. It was about halfway through high tide, so it was outgoing. Did pretty good. We did artificial all morning. Decided to come back out this afternoon. High tide was at 4:30. We got out about 5:30. So it's once again going outgoing tide. Seems to be doing really well. We've been fishing the outsides, oyster bars, beginning of canals. It's been super hot lately. Best time is morning and night. Shrimp is very hard to find right now. If you want to book a charter with me, my phone number is 352-464-7309. Tight lines.
Thanks,
All right.
Jessica. Yeah, she's in that back country, a smaller boat, getting in that really far back country.
Yeah, she's going out early in the morning and late in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Smart girl.
that's the best time to do it at this time of year. It's easier on you. Even in the water, swimming, looking for scallops. I mean, I got on the boat one time and it was a little overheated. It'll get you out there.
That's why I kept thinking, I thought maybe I might go out Wednesday because, the weather's been, and then I'm thinking, nah, let me get some of this other, I'm going to be out there next week in Louisiana fishing for 3 days. Let me get some other stuff done and stay cool.
Yeah, you need to bring a lot of cool weather gear there as much as possible, and keep a buff in the cooler, in the ice cooler.
And
even a hat.
Just
kinda
put
keep
that
the
buff
ice
with
in.
cold water and put it around your neck to help you drop that temperature down.
Yeah, because I lived in Louisiana for about a year through college, Baton Rouge area, and then down in New Orleans. And let me tell you, it's brutal. That we think we have humidity here. I think it's doubled there in Louisiana. It's brutal. But
That's where
it's just hot. So
when I used to go to Vegas, that's what used to just baffle me. It'd be 110 degrees and you wouldn't sweat a drop. No humidity.
yeah.
I mean, you can feel the heat burning your skin. You wouldn't sweat.
No. Louisiana's a little different animal, but that red fishing right now it's hot. It's just hot. It's one of the best times to go is in the heat of the summer.
So this is the first time we're going to be fishing up there in July. We've always gone in May.
Yeah.
And May is not too bad, but we had like a couple of years in a row, we had nothing but 20 knot winds, man.
Yeah.
And even though you're back in there in the reeds, it still limits you because from where we were at, we were making a 35, 40-minute run to the fishing area.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you get that open bodies of water, and it got pretty rough out there with that pretty high winds, and it kept the water pretty muddy, although it's never really real clean.
Yeah.
But it made it even worse.
Yeah. So.
And Donald, you're right. That's the only. Jessica was holding that snook. I said, "Put the snook." I was trying to say, "Put the snook in the water. Put the snook in the water." You got the snook out too long. And this heat, boy, that fish can't stay out too long.
No, it's it's you got to take, and that was something else. The subject kind of came up, and I found the answer to it. but I got a call from one of my buddies who was asking out there. They had their limit of redfish, was on a school of redfish, and needed to revive some. But unfortunately, there was some sharks hanging around, a couple of them, and to revive them would mean putting your hand in the water and the shark coming up, because they're not shy. And so his question was, if he moved from that location with that fish, put it in a live well to try to revive it, but move the location so that way he could put it in the water, make sure it's revived, make sure it's gonna survive. Is that legal? Is that illegal? And
I think it's one of those things that's going to be a call by the FWC guy. If he
Mhm.
looks at you and he looks like you're just trying to be honest and take care of the fish, or if you look like one of these guys, Sneaky Pete, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, this guy's just using that as an excuse.
Yeah, because there's no real regulation stating it, but according to the FWC that I found out, is that if it is in a container in the boat, that's possession. So technically you are illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Now, again, your intention is to release it and to make sure it survives, and to make sure you don't lose a hand while doing it. But if FWC rolled up on him at the time and he was moving his boat, and you had your limit already in your cooler, and you've got a couple more in the live well waiting to get revived, you get a ticket. That's just how it is.
Now, I got a question too, because I was watching another video. These guys were fishing out of St. Pete in the Gulf, and one guy hooked a pretty good sized shark, and he gaffed it
Mhm.
in order to take the hook out.
Yeah.
Do you consider that mistreatment of a fish?
I think so. I think
I,
so.
I saw that, and it was on video on YouTube. And I'm saying, number one is if you're not going to keep them, just cut the leader.
Yeah.
Just
That's
cut
that would be
leader short.
that
I
would be
mean,
the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut
but
that
he
leader
actually
as short as you
gaffed the
can.
shark, and it was like a 6-foot shark.
Yeah.
Raised them up so the guy could cut the hook, try to take the hook out.
Mhm. No, it's you got to be responsible, but yeah, there's kind of fine lines in doing it, because, like I said, the captain who called me, or the guy who called me, saying, "Hey, I know he's a very good conservative, and he's trying to make sure that these fish survive, and there was no ill will toward it in any way, shape, or form. He was just making sure that he was being very conscious of the fish and making sure it would get released instead of getting eaten." But
You're talking about that redfish. This has happened to us around Wheaton Island. There's a couple of spots that we would go in, and the dolphin were so bad.
same
that
thing.
Every redfish that we would throw back in, they would
Mhm.
eat them,
Oh yeah.
and the snook.
Mhm.
So one day, I
Yep.
mean, the first 4 fish that we threw in got eaten.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
these were like 22-inch, 24-inch snook. And I said, you know what? We just started sticking them in the live well.
Mhm.
And then when we moved away from there, I released them all, maybe a couple of football fields away.
Yeah.
And maybe I was wrong. Maybe I could have got a ticket. But those 2 dolphins would have eaten 20 snook.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, that's one of the things that always annoyed us up there in Pensacola offshore for red snapper. You're pulling up a red snapper, and they're obviously undersized, and you're trying to let them go so you have more later on, and you release it into the water. It takes it a minute to kind of get its bearings and start swimming down. You got a dolphin comes up and eats them, and it's sitting there eating 10 to 20 of these red snapper just like that. And they've learned this behavior. So every time a boat comes to that particular reef, they just wait underneath the boat because it's dinner time.
Well, that's the way this couple of places that we go to. In fact, it's all Wheaton Island now. These
Mhm.
dolphins have been trained, and
Yeah.
they're very smart. They don't bother you. They'll actually sit on the other side of the boat
Mhm.
and just wait. And as soon as you throw that fish in the water, about 3 seconds later, you see this big swirl where you threw the fish, and boom, you can see him with the fish in his mouth, and he takes off.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, let's see. We got a lot of
We
fishing.
got another report.
Let's do Tony Franklin.
Hi, Captain Tony Franklin back with you once again with this week's fishing report. The fishing this week has been really good. The mackerel bite has really been pretty strong this week, primarily around the range markers. They're also around grass flats, 6 to 8 feet of water, a lot of the grassy areas. They're around deeper water shoals that meet up against sandbars. Been good action on the mackerel. Once again this week, the trout action has been spectacular. Once again, 6 to 8 feet of water. The biggest key being you want to get in the grassy areas. There's been silver trout, there's been spotted sea trout. So that once again, the trout action has been really great. The snook bite's been pretty decent this week, although it's been hit or miss. Redfish have been around up against the mangroves on the higher tide, tucked right in. Been really good action on bonnethead sharks this week. Been a few black tips around, so the bonnethead's been out there for action. There's been Jack Crevalle around, been ladyfish, so there's been just quite a bit of action. The biggest key is to get out early, like I say in the past weeks on the report. Get out early, get off the water early before it gets too hot, because once it does, after about noon, the bite basically shuts way down. So that's my report for this week. Tight lines, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme going across everybody. Get out early, get out late. Other than that, don't worry about it.
I tell you, it's not too bad till about 10:15.
Yeah.
And then it really starts to come down on you. And if you got a T-top, hey, it's bearable because you get in the shade and everything else. But man, if you don't have a T-top, it just kind of kills you,
Mhm. Yeah.
But let's see. Let's get another report in.
Go ahead.
We don't get too tight. Let's get let's get Jim Pace.
Okay.
Hey everyone, this is Jim with a Pasco County Fishing Report. It's still that time, scallop season, still going on. It has been a phenomenal season, great size scallops and an abundance of them. Water clarity has been the only issue this year when it comes to scalloping. North Anclote, up by the mangroves, is where everybody seems to be going in that particular area, only because the shallow water and the water clarity during low tide helps them get down and find them. As far as I've personally been going and taking friends and family out, have been Gulf Harbors, Bailey's Bluff, and up to even Durney Key, around just about the depth of the shacks. So you're looking about 3 to 4 foot in depth. We've just been floating behind the boat, kind of drifting a little bit when there hasn't been much of a crowd. Find an area. When you find one, usually there's 2 or 3 around. Get down there and kind of feel around a little bit. Sometimes you'll find a few more you can't see because of that water clarity. But it's been a great season, like I said. Limits every time. Everybody I've spoke to have been getting limits. So if that's something you guys want to do, definitely get out there, find a crowd, and then once you find the area, just keep scanning. You'll find them. They're great this year. As far as fishing goes, been out a few times. It was raining past couple weeks, but it was hot this week. I mean, over the weekend, it's just been tremendously hot. Bite's been in the morning, first thing, and in the evening. That's been the hot bite. As far as snook goes, I've been finding them back in some backwaters a little bit with some running water. Usually if you find one, I found, 4, 5, or 6 kind of stacked up together. No more than the 24 inch in size. They're usually smaller back there, but once you find them, all you gotta do is just float white bait in front of them or get them chummed up and they're just biting. It's been great. Snook are also still on the beaches. Just gotta find that running water when tide's moving. Incoming tide has been the best when it comes to what I've seen or how I've been catching them. The larger snook, caught 2 past week, 30+ inch, have been on grunts. Just floating grunts down with the water, letting it go right to in front of them and just hold on because when they hit, they hit. So as far as redfish goes, I've been finding redfish up in the mangroves. Usually around points as well. If you can find a point or any sort, 10 to 15 feet on each side, flip cut bait right up there close. Cut bait's been the key. Also white bait, I pinch the tail off and throw white bait up in there with a pinched tail off, and that's generally getting a bite pretty quick. Slack tide's a good time to go up in the mangroves and try that. You're not gonna be able to do much more as far as snook or trout when the water's not moving. That's been the key. The hot water has definitely turned the bite off during the day. So find moving water, find the fish. That's been the goal of every trip I've gone out. As far as trout goes, trout are still holding in a little bit of the same areas. I'm finding them on the beach when I'm fishing for snook. I'll find them in those same troughs. Usually we're back and forth. Haven't been getting too many as far as the smaller size ones stacked up. That might just be I haven't been fishing that area. I'm not sure. But as far as bait goes, bait's still great. Finding it all Gulf Harbors, Cody River, and I know Anclote has it as well. As far as the only issue I'm finding right now is the fry bait has got in here. Once you start chumming in and those fry baits show up, make sure you drop down your net size. The mesh has to be small or you're gonna Christmas tree. As far as the quality of the bait, it's been really good still. As long as you just chum a little bit, give it 10 to 15 minutes, throw the net. Other than that, it's been quite fun out there. We've had a lot of manatee encounters around Gulf Harbors and the Cody River area. Family loves that. And making sure that you're watching the weather as well. That's another thing I can't stress enough. I've seen a lot of incidents where people have been getting caught out and that weather comes off the coast and just hits hard. So if you guys make sure you check the weathers before you go out. And while you're out there, don't be scared to pick up the phone and check the weather again, because you don't want to get caught out there in bad weather or stuck in low tide. So that's it for this week. I'm going to try and get out a few times this next week coming up, and I'll get back with you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
And let's see, we better get, because boy, we got so many today.
Yeah,
How about, let's get Stacy from
Sure.
St. Mark's?
get Stacy out there.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Captain Michael Dawson here, Patriot Guidestars here with this week's fishing report and forecast. So as you guys can all tell, the weather is extremely hot out there. We're seeing temperatures in the 100 degrees already in Tampa Bay area. Not much rain this week. High water temperatures hitting 92, 93 degrees, making fishing a little slow, so we've been concentrating fully on the scalloping this week. The scalloping is absolutely phenomenal in the Anclote region. We are limiting out every trip, most of the time in under an hour. So it's a great time to be out there diving with the family, get some of your snorkel gear on and go out there and get them. We've been doing a lot from the Gulf Harbors region north. The water seems to be a little cleaner up that way. The Anclote River seems to be still dumping out some nasty water. So all the clean water seems to be north. Bigger scallops seem to be shallower, while more scallops seem to be deeper. Not talking shell size, talking meat size. So the ones that are a little shallower, the meat seems to be about 4 times the size as the guys that are a little deeper. So we've been trying to get them a little shallower, that way we can get some more yield out of our hard work there. But it's been really good in both areas. As at Gulf Harbors, Cody River, the still homes, tons of scallops. There's still plenty of scallops we found around Anclote Island in the mouth of the river. The water's just really dirty. I would wait till later in the season to hit that area as the water cleans up a little bit. Shooting some snapper on some of these rocks as well, bringing the spear guns, shooting some snapper, grunts, hogfish. Seeing plenty of gag groupers on all of our shallow rocks. Excited for our September 1st opening day. Should be a good time out there. Captain Michael Dawson, Patriotic Guide Service.
Thank you, Michael. And let's get Stacy now.
Good evening, everybody. Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbone Charters out of Crystal River, Florida. Well, summertime, and we hit 100 degrees yesterday. It's just hot, and the fishing is is still good. There's no doubt, but you got to get out there early, daybreak or so, in order to catch those inshore species, because that water's heating up. I was in the water all weekend doing some scalloping, and that water was bath water. And actually, the closer we got to inshore, as the tide rose to find some shallower water, it just got hotter and hotter as we got in there. So if you plan to go fishing on the weekends or during the week, definitely go as daybreak. Probably be done inshore about 9 o'clock or so. It just gets so hot. But the redfish are still biting pretty good. Any trout, you're going to have to go deep. You're going to have to find the 6 to 10 foot water easily to find any trout, and just jigging those on the bottom on some of the grass flats out there. Jigging with little johns, just searching until you find something. And then when you start getting a bite, finding a school, you can throw some shrimp down there or some pinfish and start collecting them that direction there, because the flats, there's so much flats out here in Crystal River. You can go miles without hitting anything. So you definitely just have to do a lot of searching, but definitely look for the 6 to 10 foot, any holes, something like that. You can look for some structure. Sometimes these trout are sitting off these rocks and reefs that we have out there. So if you got some numbers, you got some reefs, you can fish the reefs for some grunts, some mangroves. They seem to be biting pretty good during the middle of the summer as well. There's cobia off these rocks as well. Every once in a while they'll come through the rocks and you can catch them off of those. The cobia just kind of cruising around between rock pile to rock pile. So always have a rod ready just in case they show up. In fact, I think there's a video that I saw of a cobia on a manatee just recently. So you never know. They may show up on anything. So just to have a rod prepared for that in case. But definitely offshore seems to be the better bet, and you may have to go quite a ways here, Crystal River. It takes you quite a number of miles to get out there to anything 30 feet or more. But that bite is still pretty good. That water down there is still pretty cool. So mangrove snapper, grunts, snowies, gag grouper, still catching those pretty good, but unfortunately can't keep them till September. Looks like we got a few days in September to punch a few grouper out, but they're going to be out there. They're not in the shallow flats. They're still going to be out offshore a ways. So just be prepared for that. Scalloping, like I said, the scalloping this weekend, kind of back-to-back scalloping tours all weekend. It's been good still, but these scallops are deeper. So they're not in the 4 foot, within a mile range of the mangroves. You're having to go a little farther. They're in the 6 to 8 foot. So you definitely have to be experienced snorkeling to dive that far. And not only that, with this moon phase that's going on right now, I think it's a new moon, those tides are pretty strong. And we were out there this weekend and it was like running a marathon. So just pay attention to the moon phases. Try to catch that tide where it's changing, either high tide or low tide, within that couple hours of where it's changing. So you at least get some calmer waters so you can dive down a little bit, because it was everything to keep still by constantly swimming. So just a little tidbit of information. Other than that, scallops are still pretty good. We got till September 24th, still catching quite a number of them. Not as many, obviously, as the beginning of July. It's been picked over quite a bit, but definitely some are deeper than normal. So that would be the best ticket to get you a load of scallops out there. Other than that, that's about it. This is what's happening here. Just try to stay out the heat, hydrate quite a bit, and we'll see you next time. Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida.
Hey, this is Pam from Tampa Fishing Outfitters and your kayak report. I've been in Louisiana and Texas over the last couple weeks and ended up on a 4th and 5th place, fishing in waters I've never seen before. I'm going to go a little bit how I did that. And then this weekend, a 2nd fishing South Tampa. One of the cues is I'm using a couple special types of bait for search baits. For topwater, first thing in the morning. Yes, they're still hitting topwater. Got one of the biggest snook in my life on topwater this weekend. Flounder hitting bottom rigs, and something you're probably not considering is a chatterbait. Right there's a picture with a redfish with a chatterbait in his mouth, as well as a picture of a chatterbait. I like Z-Mans, and Dylan from our shop gave me the one that worked perfectly out in South Tampa. So check that out. Also, leader is really important. Check out this new leader I've been using. I use between 20 and 30 pound. Super spooky fish, I'm using 20. My average is 25. And then if I'm going for larger snook, I'm looking at close to 30. Or if I'm murky water, I can bump up to 30. So those are the tips. The fish have been biting like crazy. First thing in the morning, try some night fishing. Extremely fun. If you have any questions and you want to know more about tackle, please leave a comment. That'll help us figure out what you want to really enjoy. Tight lines.
Thank you, Pam. Did a good job as always.
Yeah.
And
And a
she's
little-
all the Tampa Fishing Outfitters. I think it's 3-4 days a week. So if you go by there, she'll be glad to help you. I think she works Monday through Wednesday or Thursday, and then she's off. I think then she's off Friday and Saturdays. If she's got a tournament, she might not be there Sunday.
Yeah,
you know?
she does a lot of those.
Yeah,
So-
and she's very good at it. She's won a lot of the tournaments too. But did we ever get Stacy worked out? Couldn't get her video to play.
Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulties for some reason.
Well, we'll have to try to see if we can get it worked for next week. Well, and before I forget, next week there will not be a show because I'll be in Louisiana filming. We're going in there Sunday afternoon. We'll be filming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Louisiana. So next week we won't have a show, and I'll remind all our people that send us fishing reports that we won't have one next Monday. But we thank everybody because hey, we keep growing. We get more and more and better fishing reports up and down the coast, and eventually it's going to be. We might have to extend the show a little bit longer to be able to cover all the reports and everything we're trying to do. And we're also going to have a couple of great speakers coming up in August. I know one of them is going to be David Johnson, and this is a guy you don't want to really miss on. He's a guy that he's a big computer guy, and he loves to fish, and he does a bunch of other stuff. He's got Fish Reveal, the app that goes on your phone. And I've been playing around with it. And if you're in an area that he's already done and he's growing, he's got all of Tampa Bay inside. And I got to talk to him how far actually it goes outshore because I just got the app in my phone. He's got part of Miami. But the detail is so good that if you look at Navionics and stuff like that, you look at their bottom detail, his is just, I was looking at a wreck in Tampa Bay and you can actually see the wreck.
Wow.
On the bottom. And I guess he's tapping in with some of these people, they're doing all the surveying stuff or whatever. So he's going to be on board to talk to us about us. And we actually have a couple of little videos on what the bottom looks like. And it's a phone app, which is very good.
Yeah.
It's a subscription-based thing. You can get it for 7 days for free. If not, you can do it for a month or you can do it for a year real cheap. But I got him coming on. And we got some other people that are going to be pretty interesting to talk about different products. And especially most of them I try to bring the people who invented the product or really tied in really close, So August is going to be a good month. I figure it's going to be a hot month. So fishing reports might be a little slow. So it's a perfect time to bring people in, to do all of this. But again, I want to, thank everybody for tuning in. And you, Michael, for taking the time out.
Yes, sir.
We have another boat show coming up at the end of September. So kind of put it in your calendar, the 27th and 28th and 29th of September, that weekend.
Yeah.
Big Tampa boat show.
Yep. We'll be there.
You're going to be there and I'm going to be there. And we're all going to have a good time. So we're looking forward to seeing you. And if you got any questions or you want to fish up north, you've got all the people giving us fishing reports. You got Michael Haynes up in Crystal River. Give him a call. Give me a call down here in the Tampa Bay area. And we'll be glad to, if you just want to chit chat, ask us some questions about the area.
Yeah, give me a call. You can call me anytime, message me, private message me or anything. Just give me a holler and I'll let you know what's going on or at least get you in contact with somebody farther north even. Got a big network to work with. So
that's right. And thank you very much, everybody. And tight lines. And God bless you and be careful with this heat.
We'll see you next week.